So about 4 years ago, to my face. It's like, but yeah, around 4 years ago, around the holidays, I was just having the worst time of my life. I was trying to do stand-up, and I wasn't making any money at it, and I'd been doing it for a while, and I had just lost my job as a security guard, which was definitely my fault because I didn't care about the job at all. But I also think it's kind of their fault too because, like, I'm not gonna secure anything. Like, it's just not the body to secure. Like, I flex and it looks like a cashew. And one of the reasons, like, this is a good example of one of the reasons why they fired me. I remember someone came up to me while I was working, and I was just reading a book, and the guy goes, hey, and I go, yeah, and he goes, are you security? He had to ask. I was in a security outfit, and he had to ask. And I go, yeah, and he goes, what would you do if I stole something right here? And I go, nothing. And he goes, why not? And I go, 'cause mama didn't raise no snitch. So that just shows how bad of a security guard I was. And I ended up getting fired from the job. And since this is around the holidays, I was like, wow, this is terrible. But you know, it could be worse. And I went out, I left the job, and I realized my car had got towed because I parked in a construction zone. And I was like really broken up about this. And I called my dad, and I told him what happened, and he goes, oh, well, that's fine, you know. He's like, you'll just make some money from the stand-up you're doing. And because I'd been lying to him and telling him I was making money from stand-up, and it was going really well, but I hadn't made any money yet from it. And I was like, yeah. So my plan of asking him for money just failed. I couldn't even ask him. And I was just like, okay, yeah. And so I had to take the bus back to where I lived. I had to take the 720 bus all the way back to where I lived. And I got on the bus, and I'm sitting there, and I'm pretty emotional. I feel like I'm about to cry at this point. And this guy comes over to me. He sits next to me. He goes, hey, how you doing? And I was like, I'm all right. And he goes, oh, so what you do out here? What you do in Los Angeles? And I was gonna tell him I was a security guard, but I just lost the job. So I just told him, like, oh, you know, I do stand-up. And he goes, oh, you're an entertainer. And I go, yeah, kind of. I guess so. And he goes, that's so great. He goes, you know, my buddies are having a party tonight. And he's like, we were supposed to have a magician, but the magician just canceled. He goes, would you be interested in performing at the party? He goes, it pays $500. And I was like, $500? Whoa. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, I can get my car out of the tow and everything. Because I was broke as shit. I was like, I just thought my car was gone. I was like, that thing's gone forever. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, are you any good? Are you any good? I'm like, yeah, I'm really good. He goes, oh, he's like, you've done a lot of shows and stuff? I'm like, yeah, I've done a lot of shows. He goes, okay, cool. He goes, and it gives me the address. And he goes, it's later on tonight. He's like, it's at 9:30. He goes, show up. And I go, okay, yeah, definitely, great. I remember I got off the bus, and then I was thinking, this guy's probably a crazy person. Like, there's no way that this is actually happening. But I got nothing else to do for the night. So I go home, I get dressed really nice. I wear like a suit, because this is like my first paid gig. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna... So I go and I get on the bus, and it takes me forever to get to this gig. I end up showing up a little bit late, and I text him when I'm out there, and I'm like, hey, I'm here. And he comes outside and he meets me. He goes, hey, listen, he goes, everything's already started inside, but don't worry, I'm gonna round him up for you. And he opens the door, and it's a swingers party. Yeah. And he tells everyone's having, like, hooking up and stuff. And he goes, hey everybody, we having a comedy show. Hey Tom, pull out, we having a comedy show. And he goes, all right kid, give him hell. So I go up there, and I'm trying to feel out the audience, you know, and this audience is trying to feel out each other. And I'm like, nothing's going well. Everything's going and I'm like, man, I'm eating a dick up here. And some guy goes, no you're not, but that can be arranged. And I'm like, okay, so I start trying to improvise with the audience and talk to him. I was like, hey, what's your name? And this girl's like, Sharon. I was like, oh, hey, Sharon. And she's always, yeah, I'm sharing these guys. And the crowd just goes nuts. They're like, yeah. And I'm just like super embarrassed right now. And then this one dude, naked guy in the front, goes, hey, man, are you improvising? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, are you doing that because your jokes aren't working? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, cool, I'm going back to fucking. And he just turns over and starts going at it. Like, I just had to pretend in my mind it was somebody clapping for my jokes. And this went on for like about a minute. He finished, but the girl still wanted to keep on going, so he starts giving her a massage. And I was like, are you giving her a massage? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, are you doing that because your dick isn't working? So the best part about this situation was after they ended up giving me the money and I ended up getting able to get my car out of the tow situation. The worst part about it was this was the first show I invited my dad to. Thank you very much.